All right, you guys, before we get into today's episode of the pod, you guys have to subscribe because I'm looking at you and you are not subscribed to the channel yet. And also you have to hit the notification bell because you're not going to know when I post if you don't have notifications when I post. And then also share the video, you guys, so all your family, friends, anybody you may know can tune into this podcast. And then also like the video so I know you guys are liking these episodes. And then also comment down below who you guys would like to see on this podcast. It could be anybody. Just let me know. And then also follow my social medias. I'm going to pop them on the screen so you guys can stay up to date with everything to do with this podcast. And then also check out the Spotify version as well. It's going to be in the description. So click that link if you want to listen to the Spotify version. And then also the take.sport.blog. I am a sports writer. So go ahead and check out those articles. If you guys do not click that link, you guys are going to be missing out on some of the best articles you'll ever read. So make sure to go click that link below. But let's go ahead and get into this pod, you guys. All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Kyrie Irving trade to the Dallas Mavericks. First of all, what a roller coaster of a season this has been for the Brooklyn Nets. First of all, before the season started, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both wanted trades, which set a lot of uncertainty to begin the season. And second of all, the season goes 7 games, Steve Nash is fired. And then Ben Simmons is struggling to get back on the court, and he has no confidence whatsoever. So that's another struggle that they had to deal with. And then everything seems to be going pretty smooth. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction. And then, you just see the catastrophic Kyrie Irving wants to be traded once again. Everyone thought that this man was happy. Everyone thought that this guy got exactly what he wanted, which was a winning team, no distractions for basketball. He had no COVID-19 to deal with, nothing else outside the court, so he just had to focus on hoops. But Kyrie Irving still wants out, which leaves Kevin Durant stuck in Brooklyn with no co-star. Now, I do like the trade for the Brooklyn Nets, surprisingly, because they got Spencer Dinwiddie back, who is a former Brooklyn Net, who knows the Brooklyn Nets organization. And then they got Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a very good two-way player. And they also got a lot of draft picks. They got a first-round draft pick and 2 second-round draft picks. So they got a pretty good package for Kyrie Irving. They only had to give up Markieff Morris in that trade. And Kyrie Irving, honestly, that relationship was ready to be over because that was very toxic. The organization and Kyrie were not really getting along. They weren't on the same page. So it's time to part ways. Now, the most interesting part about this is the Nets now have trade assets to go and get another co-star alongside Kevin Durant, or at least make this roster better around Durant. Because they have draft picks. And if they want to trade, Seth Curry, Claxton, they have the ability to do so. They do have the assets now to trade for a co-star. Now, a co-star that is available for the Brooklyn Nets to get is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant on the same court would honestly be very game-changing for the Eastern Conference. That would make the Eastern Conference so much more competitive, and especially for the Nets. For the Nets, they need to have a guy like Anthony Edwards who can create his own shot, drive to the basket, do his own thing. That would be very important for the Brooklyn Nets to stay competitive. And for the Dallas Mavericks, this is a very risky trade because they know Kyrie Irving over the past 3 seasons has had horrible exits to the last 3 franchises. We'll go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers where he requested a trade. We'll go back to the Boston Celtics where he said that he was going to re-sign for the season, and then he just leaves in the offseason. And then now with the Brooklyn Nets, he requests a trade mid-season when he already requested a trade during the summertime. So that's a whole situation itself. So Kyrie Irving is known for having horrible exits to franchises since leaving Cleveland. Now, the thing about Kyrie Irving in Dallas is I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing because, number one, LeBron wants Kyrie Irving in Los Angeles. And number two, Kyrie Irving wants to be a Laker. He has said that on his social media posts. He wants to have a reunion with LeBron James, and the Lakers almost got a deal done for Kyrie Irving. They were trading Russell Westbrook and a few first-round draft picks, and we're about to get him. Now, I think the only reason that the Nets did not pull the trigger on that trade is because of the bad history with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. That is just my personal opinion on that. But regarding Kyrie Irving and the Mavericks, Luka Doncic finally has a co-star. He has help, but they did lose some pretty crucial pieces to the Western Conference team last year. And now we're just going to see how Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving play together because they're both very ball-dominant players. They need the ball in their hands to be effective. I don't know how Kyrie Irving is going to play off the ball. That's going to be very interesting to kind of see how that turns out. I don't know how Luka's going to play not having as many touches because his touches are going to get taken away. Because most of the time, Luka's creating plays with the ball, doing some fancy dribble moves, step back threes, creating his own shot. That is going to be interesting to see that kind of transpire because I don't know. I mean, I think this could be a good trade for the Mavericks. It's either going to be really, really good for the Mavericks or it's going to be really, really bad because one of two things can happen here. Number one, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic play terrible together. They don't get along. Or number two, they play very well together. There's no insane media in Dallas like there is in Brooklyn. So Kyrie Irving is going to be kind of away from those distractions. So I think that could really happen. But the bare minimum I think that this team can achieve is a Western Conference berth. I don't see them making the finals, but I do see them getting to the Western Conference finals and having a chance at playing in June for the title. I do see that happening, but I just don't know if Kyrie Irving is going to fit in well with Luka Doncic. That is just going to be a very strange combination. Now, if Kyrie understands, I'm not the guy. This is Luka's team, which I think he should understand. Then it'll work out fine. Now, do I think this is a long-term move for the Dallas Mavericks keeping Kyrie Irving? No. I think Kyrie Irving is not going to be a Maverick after this season. Absolutely 100% not. Regardless of what happens. Because Kyrie Irving is just so indecisive on which team he wants to play for and which team he doesn't want to play for. He's super indecisive when it comes to that. Especially decisions. He doesn't know how to make one good decision in his basketball career. He's had a huge amount of decision issues throughout his career. And I just don't see it happening. I just don't see them winning the finals. I know a lot of people think, oh, this really makes them the favorite in the West. I don't think so. The Denver Nuggets are still a very good team. They have a lot of pieces around Nikola Jokic. They're a perfect team. They have chemistry. I just don't see them getting dethroned at all. The Golden State Warriors, they're still the defending champs. Even though they're not playing the greatest basketball ever, they are still the defending NBA champions. So they're going to have to go through those two teams, which I don't really see the Mavericks beating. I don't see the Mavericks beating any of those teams. And even the Clippers. I have the Clippers and Celtics in my NBA finals. And I think it's going to be Clippers, Mavericks in the Western Conference finals. And I just don't see the Los Angeles Clippers losing that series. I really don't. I 100% not. Now, for the Brooklyn Nets side, the gap has definitely widened between the Bucks, Celtics, and 76ers for me. Because the 76ers, they have a very solid chance of making an NBA championship run. Harden is playing amazing. Embiid's been an absolute monster. He's unstoppable. And Tyrese Maxey has been a very good third option. Can give you 20 whenever he needs to. They have Tobias Harris. I like the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they have a very solid chance at coming out of the East. The Celtics have some competition. And the Bucks are always good. Chris Middleton's back and healthy. But the Nets, they just don't have enough talent now. With Kyrie Irving, there was a question mark. Can they be a title contender? Now, being a title contender has been thrown out the window at this point. Unless they get another co-star before the trade deadline comes up, I don't see the Nets doing anything. Simple as that. I really don't think the Brooklyn Nets are going to really have an easy time coming out of the Eastern Conference. Because the Eastern Conference is deep. They've got a lot of good teams. You got the Atlanta Hawks, the New York Knicks. They're playing very good basketball. And by the way, kind of relating to the Mavericks, Jalen Brunson not being a Dallas Maverick is really hurting the Dallas Mavericks, in my opinion. Imagine if the Mavericks kept Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was such a good co-star for Luka Doncic, in my opinion. But we'll see where the leap for this team takes, because I think it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of transpires in these next couple months, chemistry-wise, with Kyrie Irving and Luka. It's just going to be very interesting. I think Luka is a very easy player to get along with just by looking at the way he kind of carries himself on and off the court, and he shares the basketball. I don't think he's going to have a big time or a huge issue, I could say, of giving up his touches. But I think Kyrie is going to have a very big issue with having a player that is younger than him, that does have less experience than him, doing this. Now, Kyrie has done this in Cleveland. He has done it with LeBron. We've seen him be the guy who can go out and get you 20 points a game. All Kyrie needs to do is get you 20. That's it. He doesn't have any assists, no rebounds. He doesn't need to do any of that. He just needs to go and get you 20. And if he can do that, the Dallas Mavericks have a very solid chance. But you guys, this is going to go ahead and do it for today's episode of the Take Podcast. I know it's a shorter one than normal, but I kind of just wanted to, really touch on the Kyrie trade and kind of, give you guys my opinion on what's going on. This NBA season is going to be very, very interesting. I don't know. The Kyrie to the Mavericks, it's just, I don't see it being a long-term thing. I just see it lasting this season, in my opinion. I don't see it going beyond this season because the Lakers have a love for Kyrie Irving, and so does LeBron James. And LeBron James, he might pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tonight. So if you guys are listening to this and he already passed him, congratulations to LeBron James. That is very difficult to do. Jordan didn't do that. Passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I know a lot of people don't really like LeBron, but I just got to say this. He's the greatest small forward to ever play the game. He is the second best player of all time. LeBron James, he has my respect. It is not easy to stay that healthy for that long. I mean, he is 38 years old, averaging 30 points per game. Just understand that. Like, just have that comprehend in your brain for a second. That is astonishing to see a guy playing at that elite of a level for that long. And I don't know how long he's going to be able to do this for, but he wants to play with Bronny James, his son. So I think his last season is going to be the 2024-2025 season. That is my prediction for LeBron James. I think he's going to retire after that season, let his son kind of do his own thing, pass the torch in a sense. I think that's what he's going to do. But LeBron James, you can't say enough about this guy. He's not better than Jordan, though. I'm sorry. LeBron James is not better than Michael Jordan. That's just one guy he's never going to be better than. But yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of went on a little tangent there, but this is the episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and you guys go ahead and have a good rest of your day. Take care.